Can I ask you, first of all, did you take part in the vote and are you going to strike?
So as a practice nurse, we aren't on the agenda for change, so our pay is is very different. We voted, but I'm not striking. I have colleagues that work with myself that I've given them the option if they wanted to, and we have chosen not to at this present time. But like I said, we are on a different agenda for change compared to those within the NHS trusts.
Can I ask you how much you're paid, Naomi?
Not something that I would be happy to discuss.
But can I ask you this then? Do you think you're paid enough?
As a practice nurse, we're never paid enough. We are very clinical. We have different sets of skills as well. And I know there's lots of practice nurses that aren't on the agenda for change and don't get the same types of wages as other practice nurses. And because it's seen as a privatised rather than an NHS, we have little say sometimes over our pay within general practice.
Now, the nursing union, the RCN, is seeking a pay rise of 17.6%. That's simply not realistic, Naomi, is it?
It's difficult, isn't it? I think there's no amount that would ever be realistic for a nurse. I think people say that there's a lot of media coverage from over COVID that we didn't do anything, especially within the hospitals. But they are so overworked that they can't continue the way that they're going on at all.
And you said earlier in your answer, Naomi, that at the moment you're not going to go on strike. Do you think that position could change?
Anything could change. Anything is possible in the next few months, definitely. I support the nurses that are going out to strike. I understand why they are going to strike. So, yeah, anything could change.
But the result is going to be even longer waiting lists, and a lot of reports in the papers today, Naomi, that many older people will probably have to stay in hospital over Christmas as a result of the strike.
So the waiting lists have been long for a while. They were started longer because of COVID as well. There are staff, different clinicians that can help with that as well. So I think for public to say that it's nurses' fault for delaying discharges isn't fair.
Are you worried, just finally, Naomi, that there's a lot of public goodwill towards nurses, that you may sacrifice some of that, the profession may surrender that goodwill by going on strike in this way?
That's so hard to say. It's difficult, isn't it? I think even if we didn't go on strike or went on strike, there is still negative comments about nurses. And it always will be like that. And even doctors, paramedics, anybody, there will be negative comments, unfortunately. It's how we deal with them as professionals.
All right, that's Naomi Berry. She's an NHS practice nurse who supports the nurses going on strike, but in fact isn't going on strike.